My girlfriend left me for a rich guy. 3 years later, she applied for a job at my company. 3 years ago, my girlfriend left me because I was broke. At least, that's what she told everyone. She said I had no ambition, no future, no chance of becoming successful. Then she left me for a guy who drove a Lamborghini. 3 years later, she walked into my office asking for a job, and she had absolutely no idea who I was. My name is Ryan. When I was 24 years old, I was struggling. I worked at a small electronics repair shop. The pay wasn't great, the hours were long, and most months I barely had enough money left after paying rent. But despite everything, I had a dream. I wanted to start my own software company. Every night after work, I spent hours teaching myself programming. I watched tutorials, read books, built projects. While everyone else slept, I worked. My girlfriend Emma knew all of this. We had been together for almost 4 years. At least I thought she believed in me. Turns out she didn't. One evening, we went out for dinner. She barely touched her food. Something felt off. Then she looked at me and said, "Ryan, we need to talk." The 4 words nobody ever wants to hear. At first, Emma tried to be polite. She said we were growing apart. She said we wanted different things, the usual breakup excuses. Then she finally told the truth. "I don't think you're going anywhere in life." That one hurt, badly. She continued, "I'm tired of struggling." I stared at her, speechless. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Love doesn't pay the bills." The words hit me harder than the breakup itself, because suddenly everything made sense. The expensive dinners she wanted, the luxury vacations she talked about, the constant comparisons to other couples. She wasn't leaving because she stopped loving me. She was leaving because I wasn't rich. A week later, she started dating a guy named Brandon, a real estate investor, luxury cars, designer clothes, private parties, everything she wanted. Social media quickly confirmed it. She posted photos of them everywhere, and every picture felt like a message directed at me. Look what you couldn't give me. The next few months were brutal. I won't pretend otherwise. I questioned everything, my relationship, my future, even myself. There were nights I considered giving up completely. But every time I thought about Emma's words, "I don't think you're going anywhere in life," I felt something. Not sadness, motivation. I decided that if someone was going to define my future, it wasn't going to be her. So I worked harder than ever. I stopped wasting time, stopped making excuses, stopped feeling sorry for myself. For 2 years straight, I worked during the day and built software at night, 7 days a week. No vacations, no weekends, no breaks, just work. Then one night, everything changed. A logistics company discovered one of the software tools I had built. They wanted to buy it. At first, I thought they were joking. Then they made an offer, $100,000 for a single product. I nearly fell out of my chair. But that was just the beginning. More clients followed, then more, then even more. Within a year, my small project became a real company. I hired employees, opened an office, expanded operations, and eventually launched products nationwide. For the first time in my life, money wasn't a problem anymore. But interestingly, by then, I didn't care about proving Emma wrong. I was focused on building something bigger. At least that's what I thought. Until 3 years after the breakup. It was a normal Tuesday morning. My HR manager dropped a stack of resumes on my desk. We were hiring for several management positions. Normally, I didn't review applications personally, but that day, something caught my attention. A familiar name. Emma Parker. I stared at the paper, certain it had to be someone else. It wasn't. Same name, same photo, same person. Apparently, she was applying for a management role at my company. I couldn't believe it. Part of me wanted to reject the application immediately, but curiosity won. I wanted to know what happened, so I instructed HR to schedule an interview. The day of the interview arrived. I watched through a one-way glass window. Emma looked different. Not older, just tired. The confidence she used to carry was gone. When HR asked about her previous employer, she admitted the company had downsized. Then she mentioned something surprising. She had recently gone through a difficult breakup. I didn't need details. I already knew. Brandon was nowhere to be seen. No more luxury photos, no more exotic vacations, no more perfect social media life. Reality had finally arrived. Then HR asked the final question. "Why do you want to work here?" Emma smiled and said, "I admire what this company has built." The irony was unbelievable. After the interview, I decided to meet her personally. When she entered my office, she didn't recognize me immediately. Not until I stood up. The moment our eyes met, everything changed. Her face went pale. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Finally, she whispered, "Ryan?" I nodded. She looked around the office. The view. The furniture, the company logo, everything. Then realization hit her. "You own this company?" I nodded again. The silence that followed felt endless. Emma sat down slowly, still trying to process everything. Then came the question I expected. "Why didn't you tell me?" I almost laughed. Tell her what? That one day I might become successful? Back then, I didn't know that either. I simply said, I was still figuring it out. She looked down. For the first time since I'd known her, she seemed genuinely embarrassed. Then she apologized. Not for leaving, for the things she said. The comments about my future, my ambition, my potential. Honestly, hearing the apology felt good, but not for the reason people might think. Not because I wanted revenge, because it proved something. People often judge others based on where they are today, not where they might be tomorrow. Before she left, Emma asked one final question. Do you think we could ever start over? Years ago, I would have said yes without hesitation, but not anymore. Some chapters belong in the past. I thanked her for the apology, wished her well, and moved on. As for the job, she wasn't hired. Not because of our history. She simply wasn't the best candidate. And that's the funny thing about life. 3 years earlier, she judged me based on what I had. 3 years later, I judged her based on her qualifications. Nothing more, nothing less. The biggest lesson I learned from the entire experience is simple. The people who believe in you only after you become successful never really believed in you at all.